Alright, as usual, y'all already know. Welcome back, Team DWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn. Y'all already know what time it is. For the people that see the replay on Rumble for the studio quality version, y'all already know I've been kicking it this morning and doing a few things. So, that video started a little bit earlier than this one. But, YouTube gets a YouTube video all to itself. So, if you like the Rumble quality, go check it out over there. If you prefer this way, check it out over here. You dig? Either way, come kick it with your boy because y'all already know what time it is. 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Then 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, aka another day in paradise. Come kick it with your boy. Y'all know, especially on Super Saturdays, because we really kick it over on Spider Pig on the entertainment channel. Shouts out to them. He had some support from the business side, but that's what we doing over there. You dig? Let's see. That definitely thumbs up the video. Appreciate that. You dig? Let's see. Let me see what my screen looking like. Get y'all locked in so we can begin over there on the other side because Rumble is probably like, okay, this fool finally getting into his video. He been taking all damn day to get that ready, but that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? He came in early on the before he did the video, so shit. At least we got to kick it and listen to some music while he was doing it. You dig? Go check out the analytics. Let's go look at them. Shout out to the analytics. I know y'all like to see the inside of the business, so y'all can remind yourself that y'all doing something out here. Shout out to the supporters. We're at 1378, almost at 1380. So you did. We moving on up in the world. Shout out to the new people. Hopefully y'all checking out the content. Analytic wise, y'all know the videos is getting views. Let's see. 4,500 views in the last 28 days. We still over 4K in views. So shit, it might go back up. It might stay down. You never know. They be popping. You see them going up and down. Like Manny Fresh said, gotta keep them rolling. Anyways, let's see. Y'all already know to go check out the Rumble because we got videos over there. Shout out to keeping up with the Rumble. Let's see. Let's see. I'll go ahead and drop the link for you to Rumble so y'all can get in over there and start watching the videos. 'Cause you get to see the studio quality over there. And y'all see what I mean by studio quality by the thumbnails. Because it shows you the format that I'm using. So there you go. And anyway, you got Spider Pig and TWP and the Cultivation channel. They all post whenever I record anything with the studio. All gets posted to Rumble, so you get all of that in one place. That's the benefits of being in a Rumble. So if you enjoy viewing the videos, that's where you view them, because that's where they're gonna be all on Rumble. Shout out to the Rumbles. Anyways, y'all know how we doing today. We got some videos to get in, and then I've got some gardening to do because I am an indoor garden content creator sometimes. But it's about information and whatever I want to review because it's a secondary topic that I cover. So you did, I do a lot. You know what I mean? And just hit record and y'all going for a ride. Hang on, lady. You going for a ride. So let's see. This is that. Y'all know the website's www.teamdwc.info. You did go hit that up at any point in time. Just go check me out. I'm glad for that easy sport. Just go look at it. Hell, then they'll tell me, oh, you got X amount of views over there. Just looking. All right, I appreciate y'all looking asses. uh, Anyways, today's playlist is in our to-do list, so you know how we do it. Yeah, that sounds smooth, don't it? I'm showing y'all how we do this behind the scenes too. So, shit, here we go.
Look, marijuana on its own He could be smoking marijuana all day long while he has those guns. But does it make him dangerous? Because that, according to this case, is where that historical analog for Bruin comes into being. We're the arms attorneys, and today everything's coming up green. We have 2 cases about marijuana, about whether or not you should be able to possess and purchase firearms while you are a habitual user. Stick around, we're going to talk about how these cases got challenged and what it means for you smokers out there. But before we get started, show your support for the Second Amendment by hitting the like button. And today's sponsor is Aura.
I don't know who our law partner Edwin tipped off, but he has to be on every telemarketer list known to man. It'd be funnier if it weren't true, but the pain and frustration in his face when his phone rings are really a sight to behold. It's taking years off his life.
One reason we all receive so many spam calls and texts is that data breaches are happening more and more often. Recently, there was a major national public data breach. The incident compromised over 2.9 billion records used for background checks, including critical personal information such as full names, addresses, dates of birth, phone numbers, and, most importantly, social security numbers.
Our community knows better than most that no one's coming to save you, especially the government. But you can be proactive with Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura has almost every internet safety tool you'll need all inside one app. Aura features a VPN, password manager, real-time credit and identity theft monitoring, internet parental controls, and protection for devices from malware.
These tools are crucial if you want to protect your bank account and social media accounts and other sensitive information. In addition to data breach notifications, Aura will remove your personal information from data brokers and people search sites that can sell it to identity thieves and scammers. Aura is always on, provides incredible peace of mind with its 24/7 US-based support, and does all the hard work of keeping you safe online.
Stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches and take control of your privacy with Aura. Go to our sponsor, aura.com/armedattorneys, to get a 14-day free trial and see if any of your data has been exposed. And what is a case that went up to the United States Supreme Court, Daniels, it got remanded back down to the Fifth Circuit. And this is a new case I don't think I've heard anybody else talk about. But this case is important because it's going to be our standard when we're reviewing.
Shout out to them because they got to get them bills paid.
Challenge. And so there's really a lot to dig into.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because these 2 cases, although both expressly dealing with this marijuana provision, your habitual user of narcotics, of unlawful substances, including marijuana, they actually talk about 2 completely different facets of that. So it gives us a good overall picture. So let's start with Gil.
Yeah, Gil. All right, and if you want to check this case out, so this is United States v. Gil, and out of the Fifth Circuit, their case number is 2350525. If you want to check out, because this case ended up getting remanded to the district court, we'll talk about that. Their case number, it's out of El Paso, it's EP-CR 00773-DB. Now, so what happened in Gil?
Well, Gil had a arrest in which marijuana was found, and he also had a firearm on him, and he was prosecuted under this particular part of the law. And his attorneys actually initially signed him up for a plea bargain.
Yep.
But took it back, clawed that thing back, and said, hold on a second. We need to do a Bruin analysis. We need to do a Rahimi analysis. We need to figure out how this now applies. And the district court, I think, initially didn't like it.
No, so he, asked for a motion to dismiss, basically saying, hey, this statute's facially unconstitutional, and it's as applied to me, it's unconstitutional. The district court didn't address the as applied challenge, and he appealed that up to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and there, using New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin, using Rahimi, the court said, hey, guess what? You need to go evaluate this thing, hint, hint. Based on our cursory review of this, it doesn't look like there's a historical analog that would justify such an infringement. Go back and do it again. And we have this decision out of the district court now.
Yes. Now, so we've got these 2 challenges. We've got facial and as applied. So your challenge to the constitutionality of a law, it is really awesome when you challenge and you say this is on its face unconstitutional, meaning there is not one scenario in this entire universe of scenarios in which this law could be upheld as constitutional. And when that happens, that is fabulous, because it comes down. The law comes down, and it's great. But courts hate to grant facial challenges. Why? Because the law comes down. I mean, the courts are like anybody else. They don't like
Good
to
to
make
see
the
you.
waves. They don't like to
Gonna
make the
go check out the
headlines.
Bud files.
No controversial decisions. Although I will say, to a large part, federal judges insulated from that, lifetime
insulated,
appointments with, as long as they're on good behavior. So they do it a little bit more, but it's very rare.
Right. So you are more likely to have granted your as applied challenge, meaning as to me specifically, in this specific set of facts, this law was unconstitutional. And that's what we have actually in both of these cases here. Still good, not as good. We'll talk at the end about whether we think marijuana is ever going to hit a facial challenge.
Yeah. So what happened? All right, Fifth Circuit said, go back, try again, evaluate this, facial challenge. And that's what we have out of El Paso. They said, hey, guess what? Under the scheme under which we judge Second Amendment infringements, this is unconstitutional as applied to Gill. Therefore, they ordered his indictment set aside, dismissed, conviction vacated, and they did it with prejudice, which means theoretically the case is over. However, and there's two steps to this, and that's what is going to make this so interesting. Can the government appeal this?
The government can appeal this. So that's really unfortunate. That's something in the federal system that is different than, say, our system here in Texas. And there are exceptions to this, but I would say broadly, when the government loses, they just got to take the L. And that's great. Idea being, once you have lost the government, it is not worth the taxpayer dollars to appeal it. It is an abuse of your power to keep this person in the system once they've been acquitted, once a certain number of things have occurred. You don't get to appeal. You don't get to keep it going. So that's good. Federal government, much more abusive of our rights than many states, as you may well know. And so the government can appeal, but they're going to have a hell of a time because they did not in any way prove that Mr. Gill was dangerous. And that's the key here is, look, marijuana on its own, he could be smoking marijuana all day long while he has those guns. But does it make him dangerous? Because that, according to this case, is where that historical analog for Bruin comes into being.
Right? Yes, and so when the government appeals this decision, which I fully anticipate they're going to do, we just got hit with this second whammy, the Daniels case. We'll give you that citation, United States v. Daniels, and out of the Fifth Circuit, its case number is 22-60596. This actually got remanded out of the United States Supreme Court, and they sent it back down to the Fifth Circuit to evaluate the same provision of law. And so whenever this district court opinion gets appealed, this dismissal gets appealed up, they're going to look and say, hey, did this lower court abuse its discretion when they found that, hey, facially this statute was unconstitutional? Well, guess what? They just issued their own opinion about what they think about this statute, and I don't see them meeting that standard.
Yes, so when the government appeals this to the Fifth Circuit has this beautiful case that should guide them. This is another marijuana case, and it is one in which the issue was not dangerousness, but temporal proximity. So this rings Hunter Biden to me.
Yeah.
Because what we've got is this idea. So Daniels gets arrested. He's got guns on him. He goes down to the station. He spills his guts. See recent linked video about why you do not do that. So he spills his guts, and in part, he's like, I'm
a habitual user.
Yeah, I'm a habitual user of marijuana. And so, obviously, the government's like, aha, we got you. Those are, I think, in government world, I mean, they pick and choose what they want to prosecute, and they do it based upon ease. And that seemed like an easy prosecution. I mean, he admitted it.
Yeah,
right.
He said he'd been smoking since high school. Yeah. Smokes like every other day.
Right, and I think they actually had him say the words, "I am a habitual user."
Yeah.
So I think they thought, bingo. However, the court looks at this and says, "Wait a second. He wasn't high when you arrested him. He didn't have marijuana on him. What does habitual mean in that circumstance?"
Right, and so they took it into the context, again, back to New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. If we have a law that is touching what is covered by the Second Amendment, presumptively unconstitutional, burden over to the government to demonstrate based on the text of the Second Amendment as informed by history or tradition, that this is something that the government could legitimately regulate at the time of the adoption of the Second Amendment. And we get some new language in this case that I think is extremely instructive, not just for, marijuana cases, but if I saw other courts apply this kind of aid when we're looking at these historical analogs, because the Supreme Court and New York State Rifle and Pistol Association say we don't need a dead ringer, but it has to be analogous. Well, we kind of get from this the factors of what is analogous and what is the court instructing the government to kind of pick apart.
Yeah, so I like it. It's almost like a layman's sort of approach to it in the way they're articulating it. But they want two steps. After you've said, okay, Second Amendment applies, they say, okay, your historical analog needs to satisfy two things. It needs to satisfy the historical why and the historical how. And I'm just going to read this to you because I think it is very well articulated. So we've got: the challenge and historical laws are relevantly similar, which is right, that's our historical analog standard they're articulating here. If they share a common why and how, they must both: 1, address a comparable problem, that's the why, and 2, place a comparable burden on the right holder, the how. So it has to be like, we want to keep dangerous people from carrying. Okay, great, that's the same why. The how, we do that by restricting drug users. We do that by restricting, criminals, right? And here, the government, and something that should probably piss off anyone out there who is a user of marijuana, the government basically says, well, if you smoke marijuana, you're like, it's like
mentally ill.
You're mentally ill. Like this stands up.
Reefer madness.
Yeah, exactly. Like this stands up through the historical tradition of not letting the mentally ill carry because we institutionalize them. Which,
sure.
I don't smoke marijuana.
Good job, government lawyer.
I'm square as anything, but that's a stretch.
Yeah, no, it really is. So, I really like this analog breakdown. I think it's easy enough for the government to, when you make the test this easy and the government fails, it just makes it so apparent that, hey, look, you really didn't meet your burden. Sometimes they create these factoring tests and it gives them all these extra little wiggle rooms. But by making the test so simple and so straightforward, and if you can't meet the test, well, guess what? I think that really bolsters kind of the arguments behind, hey, this is really not a historical analog. This is really not something that you can impose on the Second Amendment and infringe on people's rights. So I really, really like that. But going back to our case that we started with, Gill, all right, government's going to appeal this case. Did that judge abuse its discretion? Well, the court that it's about to land in is just issued this Daniels decision just 2 days ago. And so I don't think that it's an abuse of discretion.
No, and I don't think it will be found to be an abuse of discretion. However...
Yeah, we got those separate issues.
Yes. What does this mean for all of you out there? Does it mean you get to smoke 2 joints in the morning, smoke 2 joints at night, and then grab your gun? No. Hold on. Because this is not, as we were talking about earlier, a facial challenge. This is an as-applied challenge, meaning anybody else out there is going to get arrested, and you're going to have to make an as-applied challenge.
Yeah, so I'll say the government's going to have the burden of showing dangerousness.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, the government's going to lose.
Right.
But they're still going to get you.
They're still going to get you. And so it doesn't keep you from, the statute's not unconstitutional. It doesn't keep you from getting arrested, dragged into the system. We see the bar just got raised, I would say, significantly for the government. This isn't just read the law and, all right, you check the box. It's a read the law, and the court has added some things here that the government needs to prove in order to demonstrate that the law is constitutional as applied to the person, the subject of the investigation, the target of the criminal prosecution. And I'll say they're going to have an uphill battle, but the law's still there.
The law's still there. And, ideally, in our perfect world, the government says to themselves, at least in the Fifth Circuit, the law is decided, and we don't arrest people for this anymore unless we can prove that they're dangerous, unless we can prove that they were actually intoxicated whilst carrying when we arrested them. In a perfect world, you guys all know how perfect the federal government is, so we'll see.
But we hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and help us fight the anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video.
And please question and comment below. What do you think about these cases? Do you think you should be able to smoke and carry? Until next time, with the arms raised.
Tending the garden can be quite relaxing.
Everybody run for your life! The Grim Reaper is tending the garden with you! Grim, you're...
Dr. Allison Justice, Dr. Miyabi Shields, Dr. Marcus Rogan, Ashley Manning, and myself.
You got to get into what you're doing.
Yeah, so...
This is going to be a hot topic for years.
Yeah, so it's called the Science of Smokability, or SOS. And really what we're trying to do is a multi-year, multi-phase study, and we're trying to figure out what constitutes quality cannabis. And it may seem like such an easy endpoint, but it's really not. I mean, our phase 1 of Science of Smokability is we were just looking into water activity of 0.45, 0.65, and 0.85. And then we have different components of Science of Smokability. So one component of it is we have a literal smoking machine, and it's really cool. You feed it joints. So it's kind of about the size of, what's that, a toaster oven? Kind of. About the size of a toaster oven. And you program it to set a smoking profile, and then you put in a joint, and it smokes the joint for you, and we collect the smoke condensate. So as it's smoking, we're collecting samples. We're also measuring like how strong it's pulling, how much resistance, that kind of stuff. And then we analyze the smoke sample to see what chemistry is being produced. So as we move through the Science of Smokability, we're testing water activity. We're going to test nutrient flushing. We're going to test, starches versus sugars for sweetness. We're going to test hopefully things like living soil. Hopefully this lives on for a pretty long time, but really focusing on the dry and the cure, but also cultivation to see from both a chemical standpoint, but also from a user standpoint, how people report quality cannabis. So we actually have kind of a network of people that are signed up for Science of Smokability, and whichever phase that we're able to do it, we send out pre-rolls that are whatever, metric we're looking at, and people take a survey and say, this one smoked really good. And we have this ash card that goes from white to black, and they report like the number that corresponds to the ash color. And then, they rate like how harsh it was, how much resin was produced, the actual volume of the smoke, or like how thick the smoke was, what the taste was like. We can't do this for every phase. For instance, the next phase is on nutrient flushing. And this is really, really important from a health safety standpoint, because we're talking about nutrient flushing. And you might just think, okay, flushing makes it taste good or bad, whatever, right? There's more to the story, because from a chemical standpoint, there's a potential that if you're not flushing, that there's excessive nitrogen in there that when smoked could turn into carcinogens. This is very well known in the tobacco world. They're called nitrosamines that are produced in cancer-causing compounds. And we don't know if these are produced in the cannabis smoking process, because usually there's we're not putting that much nitrogen into it. But if someone didn't flush and they did have a lot of nitrogen, we want to know what that looks like from a chemical standpoint, if it could potentially be harmful to people to smoke unflushed flower.
So you're saying that because people always want to start to poke holes in the white ash theory, and the white ash theory meaning it doesn't mean that it's quality if it has white ashes. Nothing is black and white. There's always going to be people who can add phosphorus or add nitrogen, overdose the plant on nitrogen, and it burns neon white, or they can play games and manipulate. You're manipulating out of the bounds of, in my opinion, real quality. You're cheating the system to get there. Okay, well, you're a good cheater.
That's what the tobacco industry has done. Their research was just focused on a smooth smoke, but they didn't really care about what was safe for the consumer. So you might see, you'll see a lot of added things, whether that's like glycerol to make it sweeter, or additional things to slow down the smoking process. And we don't want to add those things to cannabis. We know people aren't adding all of those things. But we do need an objective way to look at it and say, okay, the chemistry in this one could be more harmful than the chemistry in this one. Chemistry doesn't lie. Like, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. So I think it's really important to get both aspects
Morning,
of
Kelly. Good to see you. How you doing?
subjective experience of the smoker,
Hopefully you
because
having
so
another
many
great
people
day
have
in
different
paradise.
preferences.
I
The
know to go check
subjective
out
experience
Kelly.
of the smoker, but the objective analysis of chemistry as
AKA
well.
I
And
bring it
together
every
we can start
day.
to build that story. And again, like we did water activity. We haven't published those results yet. But that's only part of the story. It's just a tiny piece of the puzzle. There's so much more to it. And I also want to add here, like, I'm not the world expert on quality cannabis. A lot of what we do is learning and engaging from the stoner community, because we know that we collectively are the experts. We collectively do hold a lot of these answers. We just need the way that we need an avenue for people to talk to researchers and say, hey, I think this might contribute, or hey, I'd love to, offer my expertise. Because especially looking at cannabis research, for a very, very, very long time, we were not able to research cannabis. And if it was being researched, it was being researched in a really, really negative light. So cannabis consumers didn't want to contribute to that research because they'd be contributing to the narrative that cannabis is bad. So again, this is why it's so important to have cannabis advocates as researchers, because you're building that trust, and that trust has been gone for a really long time. And to rebuild that trust in research and eventually maybe in academia, that's, I think, where it's most impactful, is that we can tell that narrative from a community perspective.
Then they cut out as she was blazing up, though. That's hilarious. She was like, let me light this up. Dead talking. Shout out to our level 2 Buy Me a Coffee member. Y'all know to go check out Belinda Elliott.
Color. I need to maybe go back and fill in a few little spaces, but I'm supposed to start with the light color first and the skin first if I can. Well, really the lightest color on the page first, and the skin appears to be the lightest color on the page. And yep, this is my first layer. I'm going to go on to my second layer. So here is my second layer, starting to do some shadowing. And then I have a third, even darker layer around the edges. So right now, I put in my darker color, and I am using my lighter colors to do some blending and try and make it a little bit smoother. I just got a few more minutes to work, and then my break is over. Bye. From a distance, which is generally how you view a picture that you framed and put on your wall, the coloring doesn't look too bad. Closer up, it looks to me like I need to do more blending, but yeah, considering it's the first adult coloring I've done, at least it's a good start.
Man. Shout out to Chad.
Is there such a thing as too many plants in a grow tent? Does it have to be full? Stay tuned for the answers and for the recommended number of plants that fit into the popular grow tent sizes. Hi, I'm Chad Westport. I've been involved with cannabis for over 30 years. I'm a graduate of SBC and WSU, where I studied sustainable agriculture and small farm systems. Commercially, I've worked at the largest indoor facility in our state, and I've consulted with our legislatures on the medicinal cannabis program. My background and training give me the experience to easily guide new growers through the home cannabis growing process. It's easier than you think and far more rewarding than unloved, mass-produced, chemically treated commercial cannabis. Enter the woo. Westport University. Grow tents have become incredibly popular among indoor gardeners, and for good reason. They provide a controlled environment,
If you don't know,
they
you
maximize
won't know.
space, and they offer an incredible amount of flexibility when it comes to climate control and lighting. I remember a time before grow tents were even a product. But one question that always seems to come up nowadays is, how many plants can I actually fit in this thing? And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. A lot of ambitious new growers think that you can cram as many plants as possible into a grow tent, and somehow, magically, they'll all thrive. But the truth is, overcrowding can lead to a whole host of problems, from reduced growth rates to increased risk of pests and disease. On the other hand, some new growers think that you need to leave a ton of space between each plant. And from my commercial cannabis experience, I know that these plants can be packed pretty tight if done correctly. So what's the right approach? Another common misconception is that plant spacing is all about the size of the container. Some growers have said, I've got a 5-gallon pot, so I'll leave this much space between each plant. And, well, container size does play a factor in the equation, but that's not the whole story. You've got to consider the mature size of the plant, how long it will veg for, its growth habits, plant training, and even the type of lighting that you're using. And even then, it's not always a hard and fast rule. The reality is, plant spacing is a complex topic, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. But that's what makes the topic so fascinating, right? It's like a puzzle, and once you understand the different factors that affect plant spacing, you can start to put the pieces together and create a thriving indoor garden for yourself. So let's explore some of these factors that will affect how many plants you can fit in a grow tent. First and foremost, you've got to consider the size of the plants themselves. Different cannabis genetics will have different growth habits. Some strains grow short and wide, and they have tight internodal spacing. These plants are generically described as having an indica plant morphology. There are also types that grow very tall and have lots of space between the nodes. Generally, these are described as a sativa plant morphology. Expected plant height is something that a good cannabis breeder will always be able to list in the strain description. Use that information to select new seeds based off of your growing environment. You've also got to think about the growth stage of your plant. I mean, I can fit over 40 seedlings in a 4x4 tent, but it won't hold even half of that number if they were flowering. So, when considering how many plants to put in the grow tent, calculate that number off of the mature plant sizes. Overcrowding a tent can lead to lower yields through a mechanism called shade avoidance syndrome. When a plant is shorter and it receives less light due to being shaded by the neighboring plants, it will focus its growth energy on growing taller to capture more of the light. And this elongates the plant, it can alter the flowering time, and it will negatively affect the lateral branching. Overcrowding your grow tent also increases the risk of pests and mold problems. With leaves from neighboring plants overlapping, insects have an interconnected highway to move all around your grow space. Having an overly stuffed grow tent also leads to less airflow within the canopy, which creates pockets of moisture and warm air. And these two things can increase the potential for powdery mildew on your crop. However, with good airflow in and around the canopy, along with a regular defoliation schedule, growers can get away with plants packed tighter. In my previous video, I talked about the average yield per plant. If the grower knows the duration of the growth cycle and the yield per plant, they can determine how many plants they need to grow in order to maintain their own supply of cannabis in between harvests. The number of plants they need to grow will dictate the size of the grow tent they will need. So, generically speaking, these are the plant count recommendations for the most commonly used grow tent sizes. As a personal note from experience, a new grower might think that a smaller 2x2 tent would be easier to manage. But, truth be told, it's a challenge to control the environmental conditions in that small of a space. They heat up quicker from the light source, they cool off more when the light goes off, and humidity levels can rise quickly, especially after watering your soil. I personally recommend a 4x4 grow tent to avoid the hassle of needing constant environmental adjustments. And even if a 4x4 tent will hold more plants than you think you'll grow, it's always nice to have the ability to add another plant to your garden without needing to buy more grow equipment or another tent. Probably the biggest factor aside from genetics would be the amount of time a grower is going to keep the plant in the vegetative cycle.
What up?
This is where photoperiod cannabis and autoflower cannabis differ. Autoflower varieties flower on their own schedule and do not need the grower to change the light schedule. Because of this, you can generally fit a few more autoflowers in your tent. If you're growing a number of different strains in the grow tent, consider that the different genetics may have varying space requirements, which is another good reason to check the strain description from the breeder before purchasing your seeds. A good breeder will always have a description for each strain they offer. If you're like me and enjoy having a number of strains on hand, keeping a shorter vegetative cycle will allow growers to put more plants in a single tent. More plants means a shorter vegetative time and a smaller individual yield per plant. The opposite would be fewer plants and a longer vegetative time. But ultimately, that will get you more yield per plant. If you have found your favorite strain and are less focused on growing variety, fewer but larger plants may be the way to go for you. One thing to consider with longer vegetative times, though, is that you will need to use larger containers, and you will also need to keep the nutritional needs of that plant in check for longer, which is something for new growers to consider. Now, some of you might be thinking, why would I veg for less time if I'm going to get less yields? And that's a valid question. But variety is one reason. And as an experienced grower, I know that if we look at total yield on an annual basis, these numbers come out roughly even, as you can see in this chart. Plant training also matters. As a new grower, you may not be experimenting yet with training techniques like sea of green or screen of green, and that is okay. However, I can fit 50 sea of green trained plants in a 4x4 tent. Or I could use the screen of green method and fill a 4x4 tent with just one plant. We'll cover these techniques and more in a future Westport University video. Ultimately, the key is to find a balance between maximizing space and giving your plants the room they need to thrive. It's not about cramming as many plants as possible into your grow tent, but about creating a harmonious and productive growing environment. Putting too many plants in the tent can lead to some negative consequences, but with planning, those dangers can be mitigated. On the other hand, underplanting won't harm your plants, but it might lead to wasted space and energy. To sum it all up, knowing how many plants you can fit in a grow tent is crucial for successful indoor gardening. It's not just about throwing a bunch of plants in a tent and hoping for the best. By considering the factors we discussed today and using a little creativity and experimentation, you can create a thriving grow tent that will produce amazing results. So what's your experience been like with grow tents? Have you ever tried to fit too many plants in a small space? Or do you have any tips for maximizing space in your grow tent? Leave your comments below, and be sure to check out our next Westport University video for even more tips and tricks for indoor gardening. ChadWestport.com is the website to find my gear and merch, and please subscribe to the Chad Westport channel here on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in, and remember everybody to party on.
Chad Kudo, he just bought the routine logo. He said, I appreciate this. Check out the Westport University, I guess. I think that's better than doing nothing.
Let me tell you, when we hotbox, one thing that's gonna happen. Talk to me. AC gotta be on.
Has to be on?
It's called hotbox, not AC box. You don't get to relax and be aired and chilling and relax. You gotta be in there pressure, lungs collapsing, wet, hot. You scared to take the next hit? UFC at its finest.
This
the
is like
doors is locked.
The doors is locked.
Locked.
All right, so when do we finish?
When I say you do.
Yes.
You would.
Hello and welcome back to the Restart channel. My name is Shada and today we're diving into the fascinating world of cannabinoids. Specifically, we're going to be comparing two of the most interesting ones, Delta 8 THC and Delta 9 THC. We'll be discussing their differences, benefits, effects, and why you might choose one over the other. So let's jump right in. Before we start comparing Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what THC is and its role in the cannabis plant. THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, is the primary psychoactive compound found in cannabis plants. There are actually over 100 different cannabinoids in cannabis, and each one can have different effects on the human body. The two most well-known cannabinoids are THC and CBD, but today we're focusing on the lesser-known Delta 8 THC and the more widely recognized Delta 9 THC. So what exactly is the difference between Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC? Well, it comes down to their molecular structures. Both Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC are chemically similar, but they have a slight difference in their molecular structure. The number in their names indicate the position of a double bond in their molecular chain. For Delta 8, the double bond is on the 8th carbon atom, while for Delta 9, it's on the 9th carbon atom. This small difference has a significant impact on health associated with cannabis. It can produce feelings of euphoria, relaxation, and altered sensory perception. However, it can also cause paranoia, anxiety, and other adverse effects in some individuals. Let's take a closer look at the reasons why people use Delta 9 THC. First up, recreational use. Many people enjoy the euphoric and relaxing effects of Delta 9 THC. It can also heighten sensory perception, alter the sense of time, and induce feelings of creativity or sociability, making it a popular choice for recreational users. Second, it can be used as pain relief. Delta 9 THC has been shown to help alleviate chronic pain, muscle spasms, and inflammation, making it a potentially useful option for those dealing with conditions like multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, and arthritis. Third, mental health. Some people find that Delta 9 THC can help alleviate symptoms of anxiety, depression, and PTSD. However, it's important to note that it may cause or exaggerate anxiety or paranoia in some individuals, so it really isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Fourth, people are taking it for insomnia. Delta 9 THC can have sedative effects, which may help those who struggle with insomnia or other sleep-related issues. Fifth, nausea and appetite stimulation. Delta 9 THC has been shown to reduce nausea and stimulate appetite, making it a potential option for patients undergoing chemotherapy or dealing with conditions like HIV or AIDS or cancer that can cause a loss of appetite. And sixth, glaucoma. Some research suggests that delta 9 THC can help reduce intraocular pressure, providing temporary relief for glaucoma patients. Now, on the other hand, delta 8 THC is less potent and has a more subtle psychoactive effect. Users often report a clear-headed high with reduced anxiety and paranoia. It also has several potential medical benefits, including, first, milder psychoactive effects. Delta 8 THC provides a more subtle and clear-headed high compared to Delta 9 THC, and this makes it an appealing option for those who want to experience the psychoactive effects of cannabis without the intensity or potential side effects like anxiety and paranoia that could come with Delta 9 THC. Second to that, anxiety relief. Users often report that Delta 8 THC can help alleviate anxiety, providing a sense of calm and relaxation without the overwhelming effects that some people experience with Delta 9 THC. Third, pain relief. Like Delta 9 THC, Delta 8 THC has analgesic properties that can help reduce pain and inflammation. This makes it a potential option for individuals suffering from chronic pain, arthritis, or other inflammatory conditions. Fourth, it has antiemetic properties. Delta 8 THC has been shown to help reduce nausea and vomiting, which can be particularly beneficial for cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy or individuals with other conditions that cause nausea. Fifth, appetite stimulation. Delta 8 THC can help stimulate appetite, making it potentially useful for those dealing with a loss of appetite due to medical conditions or treatments. Sixth, it has neuroprotective properties. Some research suggests that Delta 8 THC may have neuroprotective properties which could potentially benefit individuals with neurodegenerative diseases. As with any cannabinoid, individual experiences with Delta 8 or Delta 9 THC can vary, and not everyone will experience the same benefits or side effects, so it's super important to consult with a healthcare professional before using Delta 8 or Delta 9 THC for medical purposes or if you have any medical concerns. So why would someone choose Delta 8 THC over Delta 9 THC or vice versa? The choice ultimately depends on the individual and their desired effects. For recreational users, Delta 9 THC may be more appealing due to its stronger psychoactive properties. However, for those who want a milder experience or are more sensitive to the side effects of Delta 9 THC, Delta 8 THC may be a better option. For medical patients, the choice will depend on their specific symptoms and needs. Delta 8 THC's pain-relieving, antiemetic, and appetite-stimulating properties may be more suitable for certain conditions, while Delta 9 THC may be more appropriate for others. It is essential to note that depending on where you live, you may not have full access to both or either of these cannabinoids. And we are a Texas-based brand, and we fall under hemp regulations. So our Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC both come from hemp, making them legal. So as long as they contain less than 0.3% of Delta 9 THC. Psychoactive cannabinoids can affect everyone differently due to our own body's biochemistry. How you consume, whether inhaled or ingested, can produce varying effects. We always encourage consumers to be cautious and start with low doses to experiment with what will ultimately work best for you. These are also not medical claims. We are not doctors, but we do partner with a nurse-staffed cannabis hotline called Leaf 411. Should you want to talk to a medical professional at your discretion, reach out and we can hook you up with a discount code to waive the consultation fee. With all of that said, figuring out the right cannabinoid for you is ultimately up to you to explore. Do you have a preference of Delta 8 over Delta 9 based on what you learned today? Did you learn something new that you want to share or ask a follow-up question in the comments below? Let us know, reach out, leave us a comment, forward this to a friend, and be sure to hit the like button and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future content drops from us. I hope this was an informative video and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Wow, that's Snoop Dogg, the Godfather. I hit that blunt, I'm going to see the father. Damn, Earth was cool. Oh, this gas, 93 octane. God, take me now. Hey, Cooler, he got another one sparked already. He being unreasonable. This beyond me if he think I'm finna hit that blunt again. Heavens, no, I'm high, bucko. I'm puzzled. I'm finna give it right back to him and tell him I hit it 10 times already. I'm finna call 911 and report an attempted murder. He keep passing me blunts. He think we in a relay race. What a bummer. I'm finna put this out, and if he asks why, I'm gonna tell him I'm allergic to marijuana. Weed for me stand for with each exhale, I'm about to die. He gotta knock it off. I done already took 2 blunts. He done sparked a 3rd one. Smoke monster. I'm finna play sleep. I'm comatose. Big fella, you took that blunt to the head. Now you finna be in the nearest hospital bed. This ain't the move. I'm finna scoot. He a different.
Shouts out to Sassy putting in some work this week. Y'all know to go check him out over on Show Me Sasquatch. You dig? You know, I'm here in Kansas City, so I appreciate anything related to the town. Hey.
Hey guys, what's poppin'? 420 scene here, back at it again with another video. I hope everyone watching is having themselves a super stony day. Let me know what you're toking on and where you watch the video from. I always like to know. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and if you want access to all my secret, unlisted grow and smoke videos, our VIP Discord community, or if you want to get some one-on-one grow help, totally check us out on Patreon. I'm going to have the link in the upper right-hand corner over here. I was going to come out with a new beans release video for 2024, but I'm gonna hold off on that until maybe next week. It did give me another really good idea for a video when I was looking at the prices of beans, and it just gave me a really good idea for a topic of discussion that you guys can talk amongst yourself in the comment section. And it's exactly what the title of the video is: Are expensive beans worth it? Now, before we get started with that, if you have not checked the Apple Betty Bean Harvest video, it's on the front page of the channel. So if you're looking for some grow related stuff, totally check it out. When our sour D run is going to be finished, I will have it also on the front page as well, so kind of just keep an eye out for it, because I can guarantee you YouTube will not push it out, because they never do. Even if I do a premiere, I think like some people get notified but not everyone. And also we're going to have a bean to harvest playlist, so if you want to check out all the different bean to harvest videos that I'm going to be coming out with this year, that's going to be another way you guys could check it out if you guys happen to watch this video towards the later part of 2024. Now, as far as whether or not to get expensive beans, whether or not it's worth it, my answer really depends on who you are. I think beans that are cheaper don't necessarily mean shit quality. I mean, it can, obviously, you can get some really cheap beans from a lot of local breeders that are getting into the game, but if you're looking for brands like In-House Genetics or even Ethos or Thug Pug, those beans are starting to get a little bit more expensive because of the breeder's reputation. Also, on a side note, those people that were giving me shit for running Ethos Genetics because of Colin in his past, let me tell you guys something, alright? I care more about the bean quality from the breeder. I want to get hella super good tasting dank. You know, I don't get into people's personal lives, personal choices. If they're good beans from a breeder, I'm going to be running them. So if you're a beginner just starting out, I don't recommend spending a ton of money on super expensive beans, because if you fuck up, it's a lot better to screw up on a pack of beans that are 25, 30 bucks.
That's like when Rob was making that retraction video on CLTV. Shouts out to retraction videos, because, you know, you hear something about somebody's personal life and now you're like, gotta stop making retraction video. That shit happens. Yeah, I don't fuck with him no more because I heard the shit he did. But sometimes you just don't care. You just keep fucking with them
$100.
anyways,
I
like
know
he
some
just
beans
said.
go even higher, like $300 or something. Doesn't even make sense. Why would you run expensive beans if you're a beginner? Like, you don't even know what's going to happen. So make sure to get your feet wet. Practice on cheaper genetics. Check out the different brands out there on IG. I found there's a lot of new breeders even on like social media like Instagram, just trying to get their name out there. So just check out a lot of the stuff that's on Instagram, hook up with some of the breeders, and maybe try out some testers. That's probably going to be the ultimate cheapest way to start out, because everybody wins. The breeder gets a progress report on their beans, plus at the same time, you didn't pay for any beans, so if you fuck up, it's not really too big of a loss. I'm telling you, most of these new breeders will jump on any opportunity where somebody's going to run their testers just to get a progress report on how stable their beans are. So it's going to help them in the long run, and it's going to help you get your feet wet as well. So it's a win-win. I only recommend super expensive beans for people that have been doing this for a long time. Don't just have a successful run and think that you can just run all these super high-priced genetics. Let's just say get like 3 successful runs in a row under your belt before you even think about spending hundreds of dollars on super expensive beans. I just don't want you guys to be spending a whole bunch of money when you're starting out, and then you lose all that money, and then you're pissed off and frustrated, and then you just quit. I'm not here for you guys to quit. There's some pretty good genetics out there that really are not that expensive. Like, I get it. You get what you pay for. That's been my biggest motto. But there are good beans out there for like a fraction of whatever in-house genetics or Thug Pug or all these other high-priced genetics are going to charge you. When I first started out, I really liked Nirvana beans. I don't know if I mentioned I know I've mentioned Nirvana like in older videos, and they always had some kind of deal on. I always remember it was always on like a Friday. No, I think it was on a Tuesday. They would have some kind of deal for 2 or 3 strains. It'd be like $25-$30. Get a pack of 5 beans, and honestly, they all ran really well. All the photos ran really good, and like I said before, I've always been a fan of the phrase, you get what you pay for, but every once in a while, you can get some good beans for a fraction of what you should be costing. Those are honestly going to be my 2 biggest tips for beginners trying out new beans. Don't get anything expensive. Check out some new breeders out there on social media like Instagram. Hit them up. Chances are they're going to hook you up. Also, you could try out Nirvana like I did, and the only thing is I haven't bought up on Nirvana in years, but some of the really good strains that I ran from them, I still remember some of them. I know So Mango Double XL was one, White Widow, Grease Monkey. Those are some old school strains that they had running like even 5, 6, 7 years ago. I actually looked on their website and they still have those genetics. They got a whole bunch of other stuff, but I can't really speak on them because I haven't run them. I just know the So Mango Double XL, the White Widow, the Grease Monkey. I think Blue Mystic, I ran those as well, but I don't know if they're still running the Blue Mystic. Those are some of the strains that I was running that I thought were really reliable. When I was on their website, I saw that they still have those weekly sales going on. It's always like 2 or 3 signature strains at $25, $30 for a pack of 5 beans. The only thing is you gotta wait a few weeks in order to get them, so just make sure to plan ahead. If you know you're gonna be starting a new run like a few weeks from now, just order ahead of time so that way they're there. And the cool thing is they're super discreet. They are more discreet than any other bean company. I'm just gonna go on a limb and say that. Oh, they package their beans. It's fucking insane, dude. They package their beans in like these like thick postcards. They're a pain in the ass to open, but that's a good thing. Like, they just look like these super thick postcards, and the beans are like inside of them. Like, you gotta rip the shit out of these postcards. It's the weirdest thing ever, but like, they put it inside the postcards. You gotta rip the shit out of them. So just kind of feel around where the beans are. You don't want to rip it apart and like the vial gets loose and all the beans come flying out. Like, trust me, crazy shit like that has happened. So just when you order from Nirvana, if it looks like some random postcard, I'm telling you right now, the beans are inside of that postcard. I feel like this video started out me just giving you guys tips on how to save money and what types of beans you should be getting if you're a beginner, and I feel like it all of a sudden turned into like a Nirvana beans review video, which I totally did not intend, but it was kind of part of the story when I started out, so I figured I would share you the beans that I got when I started out, when I wasn't spending a lot of money on beans. I hate to say it though, I'm not really a fan of Nirvana's autos. I feel like I've always had really good luck with their photos though, so it's not a knock on them. It's just when I first started out, I was running those autos too, so I might have just not been really good at what I was doing at that point yet. So autos are a little weird though, just because they start flipping into flowering by themselves because they're autos. That's just what they do. So make sure you have some experience under your belt before you even run auto.
Speaking about autos, y'all already know we running that Triple B, Son of Odin, Auto Army 2025 mission. I got to get some more genetics started here in a minute. That's what we actually going to transition to after these videos are done. So, yeah, no, we're going to be busy today. We out here putting in that work. Shouts out to working in the field because that's where we're doing it. 2025, it's all about that homework. And y'all know we're going to keep it going with that long work. Shout out to G Mama Grove. She got a video on her channel. Y'all know to go check her out. If not, just stop by her, buy me a coffee, and bless her with some. I think I got it down there in the chat for you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her, buy me a coffee. Appreciate her for being over there. Because, hey, they'll let you know to work with the buy me a coffee.
Autos as well. I know this isn't an autos kind of video, but I think since we are talking about it, I think I'd give you guys a little bit of that information. I know this video might be a little bit more boring than some of my other videos, even though I feel like I am a little bit more peppy in this video than my other videos, but I think it's really important to make sure that you beginners out there aren't spending a fuckload of money when you're still new at this and don't have that many runs under your belt. And I know it gets really exciting after you get your first run done. You can take on the entire world. I know, trust me, I know that feeling, but make sure to get a few runs under your belt so that way you have some consistency with your grow style before you start spending a bunch of money. You know, some beans are easier to run than others, and some beans might give you more hassle, so just make sure you get a couple runs under your belt. And the last thing I want for you guys to do is to get in over your head and spend a lot of money on beans and you end up throwing them out because you didn't germinate properly or you didn't dial the proper environment before you started your new run, or anything that could hinder you from having a successful harvest. So I thought this video was really important for me to release, and hopefully I gave you guys some really good insight, maybe change your perception a little bit. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. Don't spend a lot of money if you maybe finished your first run or this is your very first run. I get it, you get what you pay for, but at the same time, I don't want you guys starting out thinking you got to spend a whole bunch of money on beans. So there's a lot of good breeders out there, especially some local ones. Check out their pictures. They got a whole bunch of stuff on Instagram. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff on IG. Like, I trash on IG because of, they banned me for taking a rip. I don't know why they did that, but it's kind of like whatever at this point. They're really, honestly, that's a really good place to start if you're looking for maybe getting some testers, hooking up with a new breeder. I remember when I started out, Tiger Stripe Genetics and Bulletproof Genetics, which, they're actually fantastic beans as well. They're super underrated, but they sent me a whole bunch of tester beans, and this is like when I had not even 1,000 subs, so you don't have to have some big YouTube channel in order for them to send testers out and tell them you'll give them a progress report or something like that, so they have at least some kind of incentive to give you these free beans, so just do your homework. Make sure to not spend spend $200 on in-house genetics if it's like your first, second run. Like I said before, make sure to get like 3 runs under your belt and you should be pretty solid. So okay, I'm done ranting. Okay, but I felt like everything I said was really important. But having said all that, before we close out today's video, I want to thank everyone on screen who's been supporting us on Patreon. I really appreciate the love and support, especially you longtime OGs that have been on Patreon for like 3 years. It's crazy. Can't even believe that, we have such a huge, we're almost at like 500 members on Patreon. Totally check it out if you haven't checked it out. We have a really cool Discord community. Everybody's really helpful, and we share smoke videos, and it's just a really good time, really good vibe. So now to everyone else, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Turn on your post notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and as always, stay safe. Peace.
You talking about peace. Shout out to the video sponsors.
So
Y'all
let's
know
get
go
back
check
to the
them
topic.
out. Superfood Parents.
I've got the garlic in there. I'm going to chop up this onion. I'm going to put a little bit of water, and I'm going to just let those saute down. Is sugar like crack? What do you all know about the studies? Have you seen any studies? Are you familiar with this, that sugar is addictive? And one of the main ways that we get it is in our ultra-processed foods. So anything that's processed or ultra-processed, for example, if you're eating a tomato, that's just a whole food. If you turn that tomato into ketchup, if you turn that tomato into any sort of sauce, then it's processed. And it may be ultra-processed, like a ketchup would be ultra-processed, because you can't even recognize it anymore. If it's salsa, that would be processed because it has been changed, but it's not ultra processed where there's been all these additives and all these different things happening with it. So we're just going to rough chop our onion and put that in the pan. And remember, we're sauteing these all with a splash of water. Christiana, can you bring me the liquid aminos, please? Thank you. So liquid aminos, I'm going to use those as the salt here to season this up. And let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Rainbow is saying, dark vegetables and fruit come with extra stuff. Absolutely. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, right? But also the darker the berry, the sweeter the nutrients, like the darker the food. So Rainbow is saying dark vegetables and fruit come with extra stuff. So eat lots of colors in fruit and vegetables and eat from all over the world. It's ours to eat. Absolutely. So that's another good way to look at it. You know, when you think about it, you just have to say, okay, I'm going to eat the rainbow, as they say, but why are you eating the rainbow? Because the phytonutrients in the different foods are different. So you get vitamin A and carotene in carrots or any orange vegetable, you'll find some of those same properties. So like butternut squash or pumpkin, those orange foods. Of course, the green foods you have, especially those leafy greens, right? Rainbow, thank you. Rainbow says, I love some okra. Absolutely. So I can't remember if okra has calcium in it. I can't remember the specific nutrients, but that's the nice thing. When you're eating the rainbow, you don't have to like count calories. You don't have to worry about, am I feeding my loved ones? Am I being a superfood parent? How am I feeding my, nope, you don't have to worry about it. You just know that you're already doing great when you actually are consuming whole foods. Let's say if you're a vegetarian, like David Hunt, he's a vegetarian, so he tries to eat a lot of whole foods. But if David and Michelle are over there eating processed and ultra processed foods, you can best believe that's where the sugar is hiding. The sugar is in the processing. It's sort of like a preservative. They know that it appeals to people's palate, and that sugar in most things is what makes you come back for more. So last night,
What's poppin', you guys? Your boy man back at it with a banger. I'm honestly mad excited about this video. This video's about to be a banger, y'all. Make sure you guys hit the like button on this video, you know what I'm saying? You guys been showing mad love and support on the content. Keep supporting by hitting the like button. Matter of fact, I gotta take this here real quick. Give me a second, hold on. Oh my gosh. Now that we got that shit out the way, you know what I'm saying? God damn, I'm faded already, bruh. I gotta put on my pimp coat for this video, cause this is a gangster ass video, for real. I don't know if y'all remember, like a couple videos back, I made a video like titled like trying THCA flower, or is THCA flower worth the hype, or something along those lines. And basically in that video I told you guys, look, I'm gonna be on the hunt for the most fire THCA flower like I could get my hands on. I was like, I know that we're just touching like the tip of the iceberg and there's still so much more to come, so I'm gonna be hunting for it, right? And I saw Bay Smokes drop like some new fire, you feel me? And I had to go on there and caught me a little some. A little some, you know what I'm saying? And by a little some, I'm talking about a whole pound of it. Guys, this is an epic video. This is my first legal pound. And yes, I know you're thinking, well, isn't like weed legal in California anyways? Okay, you're right. But not in like a bunch of other states, right? The THCA flower, on the other hand, it's legal in a lot of different states, and I have a whole pound of it that just arrived. You feel me? Shout out BaseSmokes.com, baby. Come on, we're gonna pop this bad boy open, and I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion on it. I've seen videos, bruh, and pictures on the website of what this shit look like, bruh, and I was like, alright, hold up, like we gotta check this shit out. You feel me? But an entire y'all, I'm probably the first person on the fucking internet to put up an entire pound of THCA flower. I've never seen the video, correct me if I'm wrong, I've never seen anybody else though put up an entire pound of THCA flower, bruh. So we're popping this bad boy open, you know what I'm saying? And check this shit out. Look at this shit, bruh. Attention law enforcement. This is a federally legal and compliant industrial product. So, yeah, basically these are like the paperwork that come inside the box so that the feds bust them open and shit so that they can see that basically everything is under compliance. So, bro, to be 100, y'all, I want to find the most fire THCA strain, bro. Your boy, Mr. THC, want to bring something like that into the market. You know what I'm saying? We need to bring a THCA flower into the market. If you guys want to see that, let me know down below in the comment section, you feel me? I also want to know your guys' honest opinion on these. I got like, bro, like, look at this shit. This is crazy. This is Alien ET. Horchata. Oh, these have the grams in the back. 224 grams of horchata. This is crazy, y'all. Check me out, bruh. Packs. Let's bust these bad boys open. So what should we start off with? What do I want to start off with? I want to start off with the horchata. It's the Mexican in me. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I need to bust out the flash on my phone, bruh. I gotta show y'all what these things look like with flash right now. But we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna bust this shit open. Just finger. I wanted to see if I could smell it through the package. Whoa. 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 Bro, this looks way different than any of the things I opened up last time, bruh. When we did that one video. This shit looks way different. Oh, dude, the nose on this thing is way better. Wow. This is crazy, guys. I'm literally gonna show y'all a video of this thing. This is like, you would not think this is THCA flower, bruh. What the fuck? Hey, y'all, this shit's wild. I can't make this shit up, you guys. It looks beautiful. It has way more nose than like the first jars I ever opened, you know what I'm saying? The in that one video I made. Shit, bro. Look at how it sticks together, y'all. Look, guys, the bud legit just sticks together. This camera right here isn't that good at like catching what bud looks like. I've tried to film bud with these cameras before. They don't really catch it that good. But even this looks fucking nice in it. A lot more nose when you bust it with your finger, for sure. Oh my gosh. So this is the horchata, y'all. Solid like 8.8 out of 10. Definitely beat my expectations. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect it to look that fucking good. This is the Thai iced tea. Let's go ahead and open this one up. We're gonna rate them from like 1 to 3, like 1 being the best from these. This one's a lot more orange than the last one. The last one just looks like fucking like popping with like trichomes, bruh. This one is a lot more orange. I knew that was gonna happen, bruh. My allergies always kick in when I put my fucking face into like herb like that. Don't worry, the pack was closed, alright? The pack was closed. I did not sneeze in the pack. The pack was closed. They actually have like different noses from each other. This one looks nice. The nugs are like really compact together. A lot more of an orange hue to it. The nose I actually think is slightly better than the last one. No, like the horchata is way more, like it smells way stronger. But it's, the horchata smells stronger. But this one smells better. This one just has like this weird, like orangey smell to it. And I don't know if it's just in my head because I'm looking at the nugs and they look kind of orange, but it smells like freshly peeled, like orange. I'm gonna get a video of this one for you guys. This is the Thai iced tea. Oh, yo, camera looks on this thing is crazy. Yeah, the bag appeal on these, y'all, are fucking insane. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys like more as far as looks? Honestly, this looks like some fucking gas. Like, the other one looks like some alien weed. Like, it's just fucking so full of trichomes and so white, so like, pow! Like, that shit look fucking scary, you know? This one right here, it looks like some really good dank. It looks like some sherbet. Like, what are we gonna rate this one? Man, look-wise, solid like a 9.1 out of 10. Smell-wise, not as strong, but it smelled better, if that makes any sense. Like, the scent to it was just more appealing, so the smell, a solid like 8.8. You feel me? Fire though, those are some high ass ratings. Like, don't get me wrong, these are some high ratings. Now this one is the Alien ET. This looks a lot more like OG. Even like straight in the bag, the nug structure is a lot smaller than the other ones, but it looks like OG, bro. Like, it has the same look you get from an OG. Let's pop this bad boy open. Actually, I'm gonna open it like this. Oh, this one took the cake. This one took the cake. On nose, this one got a 9.7. 9.7 on nose. Wow. Nug structure, you got a lot of smaller nugs on this one. This isn't the whole bag. I just literally grabbed like the smallest nugs I could. As you can tell, like, there's also, you know, really big nugs in there. All these 3 nugs, big. So it's not like, there's big nugs in it, but there's a lot of smaller nugs, and it's just, honestly, it's a thing about how the strain grows. Because, like, you see how it grows, like, lengthy? Like, instead of getting bulkier and, like, more wide, it's literally, like, longer. Dude, the nose is just so good on this one, yo. I want to do a little taste test on all 3 of them, just to like get an idea what these are tasting like and everything, give you guys more in-depth detail about it. But as of right now, you guys, I think this bag took the fucking W. Like, nug structure-wise, it's not super strong, but it's honestly just how this type of plant grows. These other ones had nicer nug structure, but this shit is kind of like a mixture between both of the last ones. Like, the nose is so good, and then the color of this one, it's like very vibrant, very like trichomy, just fucking gleaming, bouncing back at you. Oh my god, I need to try this one. This is my favorite one. I have to give this entire bag a solid 9.3 on the Alien ET. Alien ET for y'all. Hold on, real quick. Check me out. This one actually, like, with flash, you can see a lot more of like the orange tones in it, but even then, it just has that white glare, like, of trichomes just bouncing back at you. What, dude? This is crazy. I'm so mind fucked to like where the industry is at right now and like how far it's came, and just the fact that we can get some shit this good legally blows my mind, bruh. I'm about to break some down. I'm gonna bring you guys back. Alright, y'all. So as you can tell, I'm just starting to spark it up. Still at the very tip of it. Honestly, once I broke it down, it was a whole nother experience. Like, when I grinded it on the grinder, I was like, oh shit. This thing's sticky. The smell just like went crazier. Everything all around was way better once I broke it down. I'm excited, man. This seems like some crazy shit. This seems like when like vapes had just came out, like the THC vapes and shit, you know? That was a really crazy era too. And now we're here, like, this is insane. Fucking crazy. Cheers, y'all. I'm gonna give you guys a little taste test. Ooh. Hold on, spark it up a little more. Let me get ahead of myself. Wow. this melt. Look, I can't make this shit up. Focus. Camera. Camera. Hold on. Whoa. Look, y'all see that melt? Look at that melt. I can't make up the melt. The melt is the melt. I can't make up the melt. That shit is hitting, y'all. I'm so blown back. I'm like happy at the same time because I feel like I felt it in my gut that we're gonna keep hunting and get better flour, and we did. And we did. You feel me? And it's just such a good feeling because I could only imagine, like, if this is possible, I can't imagine how much more is possible because this is fucking, I'm impressed. It's smooth, my throat doesn't hurt, it tastes good. I like it even more than when I first popped open the bag, and this is the one I was the most excited about when I popped open the bag. Wow. Yeah, I'm legit. I didn't finish the J yet, you know, because I don't want to get like too stuck on one, but I legit so faded, right? It feels almost unfair to jump to this next one. I feel like my review on it might not be the same too if I was like just sober. This one too also has a melt. It's just starting, it has a melt to it. But flavor wise, the Alien ET kicked his ass. We're gonna have to taste the next one. And we're gonna have to give them a rating 1 out of 3. Right now the Alien, you guys, is up. No cap. Officially on the last one, Thai. Iced tea, dude, Thai, way too faded for this shit, bro. Alright, we gotta rate them down. The Alien was the best one. The Thai iced tea second, and then the horchata was my least favorite. But that's as far as like actual smoke, you feel me, and just everything in general. At the end of the day, I feel like that's what matters, is like how it tastes and how it hits, you feel me? So the Alien ET went crazy, you know what I'm saying? But look, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you do your part by hitting the like button. Let's break 5,000 likes, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it, baby. Till next time, your boy, Mr. THC.
Everybody in New York was calling to get down with Mr. Nice Guy. We met all kinds of customers, like this guy here. He's what we call an enhancement smoker, because he thinks that marijuana makes every activity that much better.
Casa su casa.
Observe.
You're Scarface, right? Yeah. I love Al Pacino, man. Did you ever see Son of a Woman?
Yup.
You ever seen Son of a Woman on weed? That's the way to say it, man. It's just whack.
Pow.
$60, yo. Cool, man. I got it. Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill, man?
No, I don't know, yo.
Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill on weed? Oh, there's some weird shit in there, man. There's a dude sitting in the bushes, man. Does he have a gun? I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man.
Man, you're fucking crazy, yo.
Oh, it's cool. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out the stars later. It's really trippy. Especially on weed, man.
Let's discuss my payment. That time is past. 5,000 for you. The price is 50. How about your payment is you get to leave? Not enough. Oh, you think you can negotiate with me? I say the word, my nephews go to a certain motel, pay a visit to your daughter-in-law and your little granddaughter. What do you think happens then? Consider your position carefully.
I get my money, or neither of us walk out of here.
You willing to die for this?
Maybe I need the 50,000 more than you do.
I've got a 71 Camaro I bought when I was 19.
I just got a little mini Cooper.
I drive a Prius. I have a Toyota pickup.
Alright, Team DWC, we will see y'all in the morning. Good to see y'all, Vanna. I'm getting up out of here, though. Hopefully you're having a nice day.